Welcome to the overview of Effort Track. During the next few minutes, we will walk you through a day in the life of a typical grant-funded organization and show you how Effort Track will allow your organization to do more with grant-based labor allocations. We will show you how Effort Track can streamline your processes and empower your organization to be compliant and also be in a position to take on more grants. Let's dive right in. Employees from our organization need to record their time to grants and provide monthly reporting showing how time was spent by grant. Time recorded to grants also needs to be certified by the employee and approved by their supervisor. One of their main challenges is the timeliness of getting employees to record, certify, and submit their time within required deadlines. Supervisors who approve employee timesheets are constantly challenged to remind employees about submitting their timesheets on a punctual basis. Supervisors are trying to figure out who has sent their timesheet in. Where is the timesheet? Is it in my email inbox? Do I have to search on a server for the information? Over the years, the organization has been forced to create numerous data silos where information is stored, such as in email and spreadsheets, file folders, and the list goes on and on. Keeping up with time and all of the required payroll information critical to grant reporting costs the organization countless wasted hours. Then, after time is finally recorded, certified, and approved, comes the arduous task of calculating the allocation percentages for each employee that must be used to allocate the employee's wages, employer taxes, and employer-paid benefits. Challenges in a process that is already error-prone get further amplified, and the finance team struggles to keep their heads above water rather than focusing on more productive things for the organization. Effort Track gets your organization out of the weeds and helps you breathe again. Let's look at a day in the life of a typical nonprofit and how Effort Track will eliminate those struggles and get you back on track. Allison is one of the employees whose wages, employer-paid taxes, and benefits are allocated to grants. When Allison logs into Effort Track, the Employee Center displays her timesheet information. Has Allison started her timesheet for the current pay period? How many hours has she logged? When is her timesheet due? Since Allison has not created her timesheet for the current pay period, she will do that now. Allison primarily works on the same 3 grants and records her time in hours by day. To speed up creating her timesheet, Allison will use the default timesheet feature of Effort Track to create her new timesheet, defaulted to the grants that she normally works on. Allison will now enter her time into Effort Track. Allison sometimes assists with other grants that are not normally part of her routine. Allison will add an additional row to her timesheet and record her time for that grant as well. Allison can also add notes to each day's time entries to provide further insight into the work performed. If Allison has a question she needs to pose to her supervisor regarding her work, she can use Effort Track's integrated messaging feature to ensure prompt and accurate communication. Allison wonders if she has enough time budgeted for the pay period to record her hours for the grants that she works on. Effort Track provides Allison a snapshot into the budget for each grant she is working on. This valuable information being available to employees during the timesheet logging process eliminates the need for adjustments of time down the road to adhere to grant spending guidelines. Depending on how Allison's organization has configured the specific budget rule for the grants she works on, Effort Track can display an over-budget warning, but allow her to still save and submit her time for approval. Alternatively, Effort Track can prohibit the logging of any time that causes an over-budget situation until the appropriate budget adjustments have been made. In this scenario, Allison has enough budgeted time left for her to complete her timesheet. Timesheet templates contain a set of requirements, such as the required number of hours required to be recorded by each employee for the current pay period. An employee can see what the timesheet requirements are for the pay period by viewing the timesheet properties. Once Allison has recorded all her time for the pay period, she will then certify and submit her timesheet for approval. After certifying and submitting, EffortTrack's workflow engine will engage and notify Allison's supervisor electronically of the timesheet submission and route the certified timesheet to the assigned supervisor. In the case that Allison's primary supervisor is out of the office, EffortTrack provides alternate approvers within the workflow engine to avoid bottlenecks in the process. Let's now look at how Allison's supervisor, Robbie, will use EffortTrack to approve her timesheet. Robbie logs into the EffortTrack Employee Center and sees a list of all timesheets that have been routed to him for review and approval. Robbie notices that there are several employees who have not submitted their time, and some of his employees have not yet started their timesheet. Robbie uses the nudge feature of EffortTrack to gently remind those employees on his team they need to submit their time. Since Allison has already certified and submitted her timesheet, Robbie can open her timesheet, review how time was recorded, and ensure that the hours being recorded for each grant are accurate and, if allowed, move hours as needed. Once the review process is completed, Robbie approves Allison's timesheet. Robbie will also approve the remaining timesheets for the rest of the employees on his team. The approved timesheets will be the basis for EffortTrack to create the labor allocations for each employee. EffortTrack works with any payroll provider. Therefore, the current process with their payroll provider does not change. Our payroll manager, Kelly, submits the payroll data from EffortTrack to the organization's payroll provider for processing. Once the payroll has been completed, payroll information is transmitted back to Kelly for uploading into EffortTrack. The processed payroll data includes all wages, employer-paid taxes, and benefits. EffortTrack creates all the labor allocations seamlessly. Notice how EffortTrack created allocations for each employee using their approved timesheet data from the matching pay period. EffortTrack then generates the journal entry, allowing Kelly to submit the auto-created journal entry to Financial Edge NXT for review, approval, and posting by the organization. EffortTrack empowered our organization by providing it with an efficient and accurate means of managing the grant-based allocation process. Not only does EffortTrack handle all the intricate details of the calculations, it also provides the organization with one central repository for all labor-related data, providing them with a single source of truth that is fully integrated into their Financial Edge NXT accounting system. EffortTrack also provides the organization with all of the required reporting necessary for meeting grant guidelines and for grant audits. This concludes our day in the life of a typical grant-based organization's time capturing and grant labor allocations process. Reach out to us today to find out how EffortTrack can empower your organization's mission. Thanks for watching.